So that is the scene right now, live on Cassiano Road. ABC7's Josh Haskell here with the resident Pasha. Pasha, what's your last name?
Canlu. K-H-A-N-L.
Pasha Canlu.
Yes, sir.
So you can see that there are no mandatory evacuations. I'm actually next to homes right now on Cassiano Road in the Bel Air neighborhood. And you can ABC7's Josh Haskell here. We're at the top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air. I'm here with Pasha, and tell me kind of where you're staying. Why don't you show us a little tour?
So I'm staying right here at Cassiano Road.
So that's where you were sleeping?
Yeah, I was just hanging out with my cousins.
And what happened?
I just got an alert on my phone.
You
from,
did? From what?
PulsePoint, the app.
And what did the app say?
It said there's a vegetation fire on the northbound side of the 405. So I came outside and checked it out, and the whole hill was on fire.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
And then walk us up, tell us what you saw there.
Sure. So when I first came up here, in like around...
Come a little closer.
When I first came up, in around 7 minutes, I think it was the Santa Monica Conservation, the camp crew.
Yeah.
They're already up here, and put the fire out.
How you doing? Good. Do you live here too?
Sorry?
Do you live here?
No.
ABC7's Josh Haskell. We are at the top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air, and you can see that there are some fire trucks here, but at this point the firefighters don't seem incredibly worried about these homes in the neighborhood that I'm in right now in Bel Air, and that might be because they were really able to... I'm not seeing too much. I'm walking down Cassiano Road, and I can tell you coming up here, there were a lot of residents. There were a lot of residents in their homes, and those residents, were concerned because they've dealt with this again. 2017, there was a fire that was here, and these residents were ready to go, but as you can see, they have not been evacuated yet. I'm gonna try and speak with a few of those folks that live here. A little bit of wind, but really not too bad. And that is kind of the scene right now. We see one gentleman walking up the hill. Where do you live, sir?
I live down the street.
Got it. I just was at the top. It didn't look too bad, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a few fire crews up there, and some took the fire road, but it did not look too bad. Did you get an alert on your phone, or how did you find out about this?
I heard a loud boom, actually.
A loud boom?
Yeah.
That, who knows? Maybe you think that could have started it, or you don't know?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you from?
I'm from Channel 7.
Oh, Channel 7.
Yeah. So you heard a loud boom, and then what happened?
Then I heard helicopters. And,
Got it.
Yeah. Then I came out, my neighbors were out.
You guys haven't been evacuated, so that's good.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Go for it. Totally.
Okay, thank you.
You can see a battalion chief with the LAFD leaving the neighborhood right now. And the command center for this fire is at Leo Beck Temple, which is along the Sepulveda Pass. And I can tell you, having been down there, I saw over 100 firefighters and different crews with the Forest Service, and they were 100%, ready to come to the top here. I can tell you, at the top of Casiano Road, there's only 3 fire trucks. So read into that whatever you would like, but there are a few further up on that hiking trail, which is a popular destination for people that live in this neighborhood, kind of a hidden spot. This is exactly where the 2017 fire burned, and actually where I'm standing right now, this home was lost in that 2017 fire. So kind of surreal. Good morning, ma'am.
Hello.
How are you? Do you live in this area?
Yes, I do.
We're on Channel 7 right now. I'm just reporting. Didn't see too many active flames
Yep.
up there. You mind if I just ask you a question or two? This has got to be surreal
Yeah.
after dealing with the 2017 fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty scary. We smelled the smoke. My daughter came and woke us up, and we started packing. And we just got ready, but fortunately they haven't evacuated us yet. And the smell of the smoke is so much better now. When we woke up, it was so bad you could hardly breathe. And after a while, it was like you could see ash rain. So that came down for a little bit, but now it seems to be gone. So hopefully it's under control.
What can you tell me about how you found out about this? Was it just the fire engines going up the street? Did they wake you up? Did you get an alert?
No, my daughter was awake. She smelled the smoke. She immediately came and woke us up. So we started calling the neighbors, and a few of them were up and they smelled it too. So I called the fire department. They said they already know about it. They're on their way.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so how much further down the road do you live?
Actually, 2 houses down. from
2
here.
houses
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So you guys had to be evacuated during the 2017 fire.
Absolutely.
Where
4
we're
days.
standing right now, ABC7 Josh Haskell live at the top of Casiano Road in Bel Air. Where we're standing right now, what's your name, ma'am?
I'd rather not say.
Okay, rather not
Yeah,
say.
that's
Totally fine.
fine, yeah.
But just a question. Where we're standing right now, as I pan,
Yeah.
this home was lost in that
That's right.
2017 fire, which is incredibly surreal being here. They have not rebuilt yet.
And that house was burned.
This house was burned
And they
right
just
there,
finished
but they
building it.
just finished building it, according to this resident. Much different scene than that 2017 fire,
Yeah,
correct?
that was terrifying.
Yeah.
And the one we just had recently across the freeway, you could see the fire across the whole canyon. It was terrifying. Yeah.
Are you getting kind of sick of this?
Yes. But we love the neighborhood. We just love the neighborhood. So
The
we
price you
live-
pay for living on a cul-de-sac and having this
Yeah,
wonderful
yeah, we've
hiking
lived here
trail at
for
the
20
end.
some years. This is our
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
You know, so, and in 20 some years, we've never had this. It's just in the last 3 years, we've had 3 of them now.
So
It's crazy.
I just want to give people a little perspective, because I've hiked that hiking trail before, which is obviously a fire road.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine fire trucks going up that road because it's not paved and it's really more of a hiking trail. I saw quite a few engines that went up that road and they're actively fighting. Just describe those conditions to us.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fire road. It's intended for fire trucks, but it is kind of narrow. and a lot of vegetation. So if it's, if they're just going up there, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Got it.
Literally, yeah, with a lot of things in the way.
And a dangerous road,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, absolutely.
But we haven't seen the steady stream of fire trucks,
Yep.
going
That's a
up.
good
The
sign.
fact that there's only 2 right there, that's a
Yep.
very good sign.
Yep.
And that is really the scene at the top of Cassiano. I actually was lower on Sepulveda Pass, and
Okay.
I could barely see any fires. And just want to show the trees here. Very little wind right now, and that's obviously a very different
Fortunate.
situation.
Very fortunate that
Yeah.
way. But you
Was
can tell the
much
smoke
windier when
is-
I was covering the
you don't smell the
2017
smoke
fire
anymore.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't smell
Yeah.
the smoke
Yeah.
as much. I really appreciate you chatting with us.
No problem.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
And you take it easy, okay? So that resident, she lives just right 2 houses down from where I am. I'm at 1366 Cassiano. I'd like to take you guys up a little further. Our signal isn't great, as we all know, as we get closer to sort of hiking trails, the end of cul-de-sacs, roads in the mountains. The signal kind of does not stay at a level really that it should. So I'm going to stay here for now. But I have to tell you that I am just struck by kind of how quiet it is. These homes, I believe, are the closest to the fire right now. There might be some in Bel Air Estates that are pretty close. And I'm only seeing 2 fire trucks on Cassiano right now. And I'm going to try and take you guys up a little closer, because maybe that signal is holding, as we are now in Bel Air, top of Cassiano Road. ABC7's Josh Haskell. We are live right now, live coverage of a fire that started about an hour and a half ago, right along the north side of the 405 freeway, Sepulveda Pass area. I'm in the Bel Air neighborhood. Just take it easy, stay safe. Looks like maybe some stringers here. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Did you make it past the end of the road there? Or?
Yeah, there's.
So we walked probably about a quarter mile down.
No active flames, right?
There's a few small
few
ones,
spots,
not
yeah.
big, but everything's pretty much been stopped. It's just a bunch of ash.
Got it.
I
You guys
think
are stringers?
Yeah,
Cool.
I think I did hear on the radio there was a couple much further up. There's still little active flames.
Yeah,
but
near Bel Air Estates.
yeah, it's
which
like
is a
in,
gated
it's
area.
in one of the valley. And
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Check my head for webs.
Got it.
No, you're okay.
What service are you guys with?
We're with A&G News.
All right, cool. We'll look out for your video. I'm at ABC7.
ABC7?
Yeah.
We sent off part 1, part 2,
That's nice.
and we're sending off this in part 3.
Okay.
Alright,
Do you mind if I ask you just a question or two about what you saw?
believe me on it.
Yeah, I'm live right now.
That works. But this house right here did burn the last
I know. I covered it in 2017. That's just 2 questions. Just what you saw up there.
Sure.
Okay. You want to just stand right here? What's your name, sir?
Sean?
Sean. What's your last name?
Mason?
Okay, got it. I'm here with Sean Mason, right?
Mason.
Mayton. You're with ANG News.
Yeah.
Just tell me, since I'm not able to go live past this point, tell me what you saw up there.
So right now, the fire has pretty much died down. There's still a bunch of ash and some smoke coming up, but there's no active flame at this time. There's a lot of fire crews up there, a lot of fire rigs, and they're just monitoring it. They're still continuing to do water drops on any hotspots that they see with their night vision goggles. But right now, they've said they've stopped forward progress and they will be declaring a knockdown soon.
Got it. And tell me, you saw some active fire kind of further up the Bel Air Estates area, or what was
So
that scene?
earlier tonight when we got here right before the fire department arrived, and there's a helicopter. So we got here right before the fire department arrived, and it started right at the Getty exit for where Sepulveda and the Getty exit are, and it was maybe about 4 acres, and then just exploded into about 30 acres.
Any idea how it started?
Really not sure.
But it started near the road, right?
It did. It
Yeah.
started, it looked like right near the guardrail.
Got it.
We did talk to one person who called 911. They said that...
Was it some young kids?
1 second, can't hear you.
Was it some young kids?
No, there was one gentleman that I talked to. He called 911 and he said he just saw the fire and he called it. He wasn't sure how it started.
Got it.
But yeah, pretty
Cool.
big fire out here.
Well, stay safe, guys. Thank
right,
you
you
for your
as well.
time. Well, I'm sure we're already airing your video, so thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yeah.
Take care.
Just to clarify for everyone, that was not a firefighter. Actually, one of our folks in the Stringer Service ANG News, which we use all the time at ABC7. But he was able to get up further than I am. I'm not really going to go past this point because of service issues. But that gentleman was basically able to go up sort of where that hiking trail is, and he got sort of a much better glimpse and said that a lot of the hot spots when this started are now out. So appreciate that gentleman talking to us. You can see that is his vehicle, and he has a camera with him, and they've already sent in some material to help us cover this fire that LA City Fire absolutely jumped on. You have county fire ops, about 2 or 3 fire helicopters that have been hitting this non-stop. They are used to fires around here. There was that 2017 blaze that I'm talking about. And then right now, you can see this is the scene, the top of Casiano Road in Bel Air. And you can see that that home that I'm showing you next to the fire truck, that home burned in 2017. So did a few other homes further down the road here. And so that home actually looks like it's been sort of rebuilt, but just kind of a surreal sight for the people that live here, that some of the homes that they lost in 2017, they are essentially have just finished rebuilding them, and now they're having to deal with this again. Thankfully, not as much smoke, not as much wind, and they have not had to be evacuated. So that is the scene. I'm going to keep this up right now, and I'm just going to show you sort of the scene of Casiano Road as I try and balance the phone right now. So bear with me. put it on 8 for a reason. I get it. And once we are on it, it'd be great if you could talk to me a little bit. How's the signal? Okay. So I will stay down below and I'll go to 1.5. You should have me back. Okay, I'll be ready to go at 3:30. I'm putting in my AirPods. What'd you say? Yeah, can you do a test with me at like 125? Sorry, 325? Okay, I'm just gonna save my battery, but I'm keeping the picture up. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who is watching right now. I am at the top of Cassiano Road. We are in Bel Air, and there's a few fire trucks here. This is where some homes burned in 2017. We're going to be going on live coverage on ABC7 around 3:30, and so definitely tune in for that. But for now, I am your man covering what things look like on the top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air, and just taking a quick breather right now. But you can see that fire engines are stationed in front of these homes, and we know that the fire got pretty close to these homes. I'm pretty familiar with this area. There's a hiking trail that is at the top of Cassiano Road, and that particular hiking trail is also a fire road. And I can tell you that a number of fire engines right now, they went on that fire road further up, closer to the flames, and they were able to stop forward progression of this fire. Really good news that we just heard from the LA Fire Department. PIO Eric Scott has been filling us in all morning on everything that is happening here. And you know, I am in a neighborhood where these homes are right next to each other, and just want to give you guys a glimpse of what the wind looks like. Very light wind right now. There is some wind as I try and hold it steady, but what's remarkable is that home right there, they're still rebuilding from the 2017 fire. That home right there next to the fire truck. This one was saved, but down there 2 homes were lost. One resident was telling me that a lot less smoky this time around, and they have not had to be evacuated. So that is good news for this particular neighborhood. Just trying to pull up a little information so I can feed you guys the latest. Eric Scott has been posting updates with the Los Angeles Fire Department, and he basically said that this fire in Bel Air, brush fire, 30 plus acres burning east of the 405 freeway near Getty Center Drive, and 1300 North Sepulveda Boulevard is where they believe it started, or at least is a marker for them. And brush burning with unknown structure threat east of the 405. That tweet was over an hour ago, so things have changed, which is really, really, really good news. And that is the latest from Eric Scott, and I'm going to try and get an update from the LAFD, who's providing us updates on social media. I'm in a spot right now where I do get good enough service to update everybody watching, and also continue to go live with you. That's why we did not go up further. So this is the latest of 15 minutes ago from the LA Fire Department. Forward progress of the fire has been stopped. 199 LAFD personnel assigned to this fire. They were obviously responding to it as a major incident with just so many homes in the area. They're holding the fire right now to 35 acres of grass and brush in an old burn scar upon a west-facing slope of the Sepulveda Pass, entirely on the east side of the San Diego 405 freeway. The heel of the fire remains on Sepulveda Boulevard at Getty Center Drive, with the fire having moved slowly eastward. The blaze's flanks stretching north and south from there. Weather conditions remain hot and dry with minimal wind. There have been no injuries, no structures are immediately threatened, and there are presently no evacuation orders. Now, the fire is not fully controlled at this point. I don't have actually a containment figure, just that forward progression has been stopped, and we're looking at 35 acres, 199 LAFD assigned to this. This incident is called the Sepulveda Fire, and that is the latest update as of 15 minutes ago. I have not seen more fire trucks come up to this area. They must not feel that these homes here are incredibly threatened. I was talking to that one resident who was telling me that just a lot less smoke and just a surreal scene right now. I don't know if this fire engine's leaving. Everyone stay with the stream. You may see me go to black just for a quick minute as I just changed the delay on the latency of my stream right now. But do not go away, do not go anywhere. We're having much more coverage. I'm just making a slight adjustment on my end. Just stand by, do not go anywhere. Giving you a heads up that an ambulance just went by me, and I don't think anyone else has come past me besides firefighters, and they're at the top of the fire road, so just something to be on the lookout for. Bye. Again, I'm going to go to black very quickly. Stay on our stream. I'm just going to restart my phone so we can be in place for coverage coming up at 3:30. But I will be right back, so bear with us. And we're back. Thank you for bearing with us here. Josh Haskell, the top of Casiano Road in Bel Air. There are two fire trucks here, and that is the scene. I'm surrounded by homes, but luckily I am not surrounded by fire. There have not been mandatory evacuations for this particular neighborhood right now. And a note to our friend Jerry in KBC Transmission that I am on IFB, so if he wants to talk to me, I lowered my delay, so we'll be ready for our coverage. And I'm staying up and I'm staying with you here in the Bel Air neighborhood, the top of Cassiano Road. You know, at this point, a lot of the residents that I saw checking things out, they've kind of gone away. And so I think that they're aware that things are not as bad as they were in 2017. And I'm going to just sort of give you a little bit of a pan. I do hear you. Good morning, Rita. Good morning, Rita. This is a check for our friends Rita in the KBC director's booth. We are at the top of Cassiano Road right now on a 1.5 second delay. And we are live on abc7.com and on our app, the top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air, the scene of the 2017 fire, and now the scene of the Sepulveda fire in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic. Quite a bizarre situation to go and cover a fire, but luckily it's a much different fire. There is not as much wind, and there have not been mandatory evacuations for this neighborhood as I give you guys a pan. An update for you here. We were at 35 acres. Now we are at 50 acres. See some residents here. You guys okay? Okay. I'm with ABC7. Don't worry. You live here? Could I ask you guys a question or two? Yeah. So, did you just came from your house and walked up to check things out, or?
I actually left immediately.
Yeah.
I took her instantly, and when I saw things getting better, I came and I wanted to see what's happening.
Got it. Luckily, I've not seen a ton of active flame, so that's a good thing. But you guys are used to this. 2017, it was pretty bad up here.
Yeah, October was pretty bad. October, we could see the flames from the other side. It looked like the apocalypse.
What's crazy is that the fire last year, which was really, really bad, didn't jump.
Yeah.
You know, but you guys watched it from here. But in 2017,
I wasn't here in 2017. I was in college, and my parents called me at like 4 a.m. like, what do you want to see from your entire life? And
how do you answer a question like that?
I don't know, actually. I told them a hat because I was confused, and then I took a shower. And then I cried in the shower.
Well, listen, nobody likes getting woken up in the middle of the night. And when there's a fire and you get asked a question like that, it's a little surreal. So you have every excuse. What are your names?
My name's Amanda.
Amanda and Nathan. Got it. ABC7's Josh Haskell here, top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air. I'm here with Amanda and Nathan, and you guys live in this area, and I'm just chatting with them, and everyone is chatting about the 2017 fire, the 2019 fire. So far, it looks like the 2020 fire in the middle of a pandemic is not as bad as at least 2017, where homes were lost.
The house over here is the one that got burned.
Say that again, sir?
The house right there is the one that got burned last year. Halfway.
2017.
So they're rebuilding it.
2017.
That house over there was completely lost, and they're building it brand new. So we still have houses from the last year fire.
Father, daughter?
Yeah.
Yes, got it.
Still being built. So we lost 3 houses
Wait.
along the street.
Do you want to tell me exactly what happened, like how you found out about it? Then you said you got in your car and you left? Yeah, this one.
I was up playing Animal Crossing, so I smelled smoke, just like the one in October. I smelled smoke, and I was like, this feels weird. So I decided to check the news, and I kept checking like on Twitter and refreshing until I saw something about like Sepulveda fire, and then I just took her. I'm not risking.
I mean, this is, could you think of a worse deja vu?
No, this was a nightmare. This is her second time, and yeah, she was on the news last time too.
What's your dog's name?
Shay.
Can Shay tell our friend Jerry in transmission that we hear his test? We hear your test, Jerry. So that is the scene here on the top of Cassiano. I'm here with a father and daughter who live in the area. And we're going to go on Channel 7 with live coverage in just a few minutes. I'd love to chat with you guys if you don't mind just hanging out here. Because you guys have a very interesting perspective. Nathan, tell us a little bit more about how you found out about this fire. Did she wake you up, or?
Yeah, she woke us up, and the first thing is we opened the door and we smelled the smoke. And then as soon as we found out it's relatively close by, we just started packing up again. And, we've done this so many times that we sort of know what to pack exactly.
And, I didn't see the original photos, but I'm told that the whole hillside was lit up. It was really bad. They jumped on this. I mean, by the time I got here, there was very few active flames on the hillside.
That's good.
Yeah.
The firefighters have been great.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love them so much.
They were here on time. They did such a great job.
Like the October one, like we could see the flames from outside our windows. It was terrifying. So the fact that I couldn't see the flames seemed like a good thing.
And so you were playing a game, and then what happened?
Oh, I was playing a game and I just smelled smoke, and like now, ever since like the October one to the previous one, if I smell smoke in the slightest, even if it's a candle, I'll panic and check the entire house. So that's what I did, and then I checked online, and then people were saying things about fire, so I just woke everyone up just in case, and then it seemed to be real, so I took her and ran.
Got it.
Here anyway.
Yeah.
The traffic, so our house always shakes.
So we're about 3 minutes away, and I'll set the scene, and then I'll ask you guys some questions. If you're watching us on abc7.com, if you're watching us on our app, we will be on in just a few minutes on Channel 7 in Southern California with complete coverage from every angle, as always, of the Sepulveda fire. I, of course, will stay on where you guys are. We're about 5 minutes from me, but our coverage starts in just a minute or two. And we will, obviously have the weather angle. We will have, we should have a view from above, Air 7 HD. And we will, of course, have all of that. And we will continue to stream and bring you the latest information. I'm ABC7's Josh Haskell, the top of Cassiano Road in Bel Air. And I can tell you that forward progress of this fire has been stopped. It has so far burned 50 acres here in the Bel Air, sort of north of the 405, 405 north, the north side of the 405, the Bel Air side, not the Brentwood side where we saw that fire near the Getty fire back in 2019. But this is where we saw that Skirball fire in 2017. And speaking of that, there are some homes right now that were lost in that fire. You can see right next to the fire truck. And it is just kind of a surreal scene being here in an area where I covered that 2017 fire. And this is burning in that burn scar of this Skirball fire. Who remembers the Skirball fire? Nathan and what's your name again, ma'am?
Amanda.
Nathan and Amanda. What's your guys' last name?
Carini.
Nathan and Amanda Carini.
Yes.
Excellent. And what's your dog's name?
Shay.
Shay.
A year and a half old.
Year and a half old. Got it.
She loves no baby.
So this is Shay's second fire, second evacuation?
Yeah, the October one was her first. And actually that was kind of my first in a long time since I'd come back from college.
Yeah.
So I panicked, I took a few essential things and I just took her as far away as I could until I heard something else.
Yeah.
And so last time we stayed in an evacuation center for a while, and about 7 a.m. we came home. But the wind was going that way, so we were allowed to come home. No one else in Brentwood was. We were just on the lucky side.
So you guys just stay here. I'm going to ask you some questions in about 2 minutes. Okay? Yes, I do, Katie. Good morning.
Of those fires. They're still looking into that, and of course they're looking into this one. Now, as far as your drive is concerned, they did run a traffic break. We'll come off SkyMap 7. You see the 405. You're going to be fine on the freeway, but Sepulveda Boulevard will remain shut down throughout the morning. You can see as we push in right there how many units are staged right on Sepulveda. Fortunately for your drive, it's not going to be an issue. Into and out of the valley, you'll be fine on the freeway. The volume's lighter than normal, has been ever since the stay-at-home orders in February. But for Sepulveda to reopen, that'll take some time. They'll have to completely overhaul this, get it under control. Leslie and Brandy, they say now it's up to about 50 acres total. That's their estimate. That could change. 200 firefighters will give you a wide shot once again here. I just mentioned earlier this morning, it really was a big concern. It started at about 12:30. A lot of homes in the area that were threatened, but they were able to, for the most part, knock it down. And things for now really look pretty good.
All right, Scott, thank you very much. And Good that they really hit this fire with all of their water dropping capabilities this morning. Josh Haskell, we can see him right now. He is on Casiano Road, and Josh covered this fire in 2017 in Bel Air. He is from the area. Josh, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, Leslie. That fire, 2017, the Skirball fire. Now I'm here at the Sepulveda fire, almost in the exact same place, which of course can be a good thing because that brush has not had years to grow back. We're told by Eric Scott that this fire is burning in that same burn scar of the Skirball fire. And Brandy and Leslie, you want to know a reminder of that? Well, I'm on the top of Casiano Road in Bel Air right now. Just want to give you a glimpse. A few of the homes in this area here, they burned in that 2017 fire. I'm showing you a home right now that was lost in that fire. It has still not been rebuilt. It looks like the plans from the architect have been approved and construction will start soon on that particular home. We are here at the end of Casiano Road. This is about as far as I can take you because of some signal issues, but you can see there's some fire trucks here. And Brandy and Leslie, I have to tell you, I did just see an ambulance go up to the top of that fire road and leave with someone. We're trying to get more information on that. I can tell you that some fire trucks were able to go past where Casiano ends to that fire road, and they've been working the fire from there. And everyone that I've spoken with in this area that's gone up there says that the active flames here at Casiano, where there are homes, have been extinguished. So that's good news for this neighborhood. No mandatory evacuations at this point. Very little wind here on the ground. But who knows better about that 2017 fire than Nathan and Amanda, a father and daughter that I have been speaking with here. And this is Amanda's dog, Shay. This is her second fire. Good morning to you guys. You guys just have been in the last 3 years, fire after fire. Tell us what happened this morning, Amanda.
This morning I was just playing a game. I never actually fell asleep. So I smelled smoke, and ever since the October one, I've been paranoid. So the first thing I did is I checked online, and as soon as I saw any mention of a fire, I took my dog and I went far until someone told me otherwise.
And then you came back and you're here with your dad. Yeah. How are things different, Nathan, this year compared to 2017 Skirball?
In 2017, we got up and there were flames everywhere. The sky was orange and we could see embers coming down. And the fire department was right in front of our house. They were telling everyone to leave. So we only had a few minutes to pack, and we left. And for the next 3 days, we couldn't get back on because they closed the entire street. So in 2017, we lost 3 houses on this street. 2 of them are being rebuilt right now. One we're actually standing right in front of, and the third one, the lot is still empty. So we, as soon as we smell smoke, we just try to pack as quickly as we can and leave and not take a chance. So this morning we just packed and left.
But a lot less smoke and less wind. Describe the conditions to us.
Correct. The embers aren't coming down. We live on the hillside, so before we could just see embers coming down. Winds were a lot stronger. They're not as bad today.
So you didn't see any flames. Are you concerned now? Are you going to leave or no? Because there's no mandatory evacuation.
We just came back because all of our neighbors said, they talked to the firefighters and they're saying it's okay to go back inside, but we're going to leave our cars fully packed in case we have to leave.
What did you pack in your car?
Everything. Since the last few fires, we've gotten good at it, so we know to back up our medicines and wedding pictures and, all of our computers and work clothes and all of that. So.
Thank you. Stay with us just for 1 sec. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but from experience covering being in the middle of these last few fires, this gentleman here, Nathan, he tells me that they knew what to pack, and that's just kind of what folks deal with here in this Bel Air neighborhood at the top of Casiano, Brandy and Leslie. And you can see those fire trucks behind me. And I can tell you, I've been in the area for about over an hour. When I first arrived, the command post is set up at Liobek Temple, and I was just amazed by how many firefighters were already here when I arrived about 2:30. It looked like at least over 100 firefighters, 50 engines, and engines pouring in from different parts of the city, including some other agencies. And they were blocking Sepulveda. They had Sepulveda shut down right away, and then a lot of other fire trucks were at Leo Baeck Temple. And then what ended up happening was I went a little bit further near the Bel Air Estates area, this fire burning on the north side of the 405. And I did see some flames up on the hillside. I tweeted some photos and videos at ABC7 Josh Haskell. But really quickly from the air, and I saw some engines up on the hill, they got those flames out. And that's why I moved here to Cassiano. But this neighborhood that I'm in, not under a mandatory evacuation. And I have not seen any more engines show up since I've been here. So that is a good sign. As Scott Reif said, 50 acres so far. Forward progression of this fire has been stopped. Over 200 firefighters assigned to the Sepulveda fire, which is burning right where that 2017 Skirball fire burned. I'll send it back to you guys.
And Josh, before we let you go real quickly, because people hear wildfires in Bel Air, and we've been referencing 2017. Just last fall, we saw another fire. That fire was on the west side of the 405 freeway, right in the same area too, correct? So this region is just known for flaring up during times like these.
Yeah, and I was just speaking, Brandy, with Nathan and Amanda here. That fire, the Getty fire, was burning on the Brentwood side of the 405 freeway, started around Getty Center and the Getty Museum. And then it burned west kind of towards Brentwood, obviously, Tiger Tail, closer to Mandeville, that area. It did not jump the 405 over here where the northbound lanes are. They dealt with that 2017 fire. They saw the fire, obviously, that Getty fire last year, but they did not have to evacuate here. But as Nathan was saying, they know what to pack because they've been through this before. And you can just see over my shoulder, that house still has not been rebuilt from that 2017 fire. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Josh, thank you very much for that. Can you just imagine, people already knowing what to pack? It's just been awful in that area. We're going to go on over to Mark Cota-Robles right now. Mark, are we going to stay with Josh? Okay, there we go. Mark Cota-Robles in the area. Mark, are you on Sepulveda? Where are you?
Yeah, so we're on Sepulveda, just off the 405 freeway. So Josh is giving you the view up at the top of the mountain with some of the homes in the Bel Air area. Here on Sepulveda, we have a lot of the firefighters near the origin of the fire. Right here behind us, I'll step out of the way, you can see these two LAFD arson investigators. They arrived on scene just a few minutes ago, and they put out some of this fire line. They believe, I spoke to them briefly, that this right here could be the origin of the fire. It's a little unclear, and they're going to get a better idea later this morning once the sunlight comes, but they've been walking along here, taking a look at the burn area. So again, this is just off Sepulveda Boulevard on the east side of the 405 freeway. A majority of this fire burning on this west flank, as Josh was mentioning, and Scott, in this previously burned area of the Skirball fire in 2017, which again could be some good news that it's already burned through this area before, and perhaps that's one thing that helped firefighters this morning. Let me tell you, as you come through the Sepulveda pass this morning along the 405 freeway, you're not going to see any glow this morning. The majority of these flames are out. The fire is not fully controlled or contained as the way that LAFD would explain, but the fire is certainly not burning in any serious manner. Where I'm standing here along Sepulveda Boulevard, up on the hill, I can see some hot spots, but it's going to be very difficult for the camera to pick any of that up. It is dark out here, there is no major glow, and there's not any massive smoke plume coming up from this area that burned earlier this morning. Again, this fire broke out just after midnight, so we are some 3 hours in. And at times we do see some of these helicopters overhead with LAFD. However, some of the resources have been pulled back, and that is another good sign. LA County Fire helicopters that were out here are no longer needed here at the scene, so they are pulling back some of those fire resources. However, some 200 firefighters remain on scene here on the ground. So the 405 freeway this morning, it remains open. You will still be able to travel both north and southbound. However, Sepulveda Boulevard, which some people may use as an alternate route, where we are standing, it remains closed this morning. Reporting live, Mark Cota-Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News. Send it back to you.
Well, it's good that they are getting an upper hand. They were able to hit this fire very fast, very hard. We're looking at the right side of the screen, how it was looking earlier with that ridge just lighting up with that active flame. And on the left side of the screen, that's how it's looking now from Air 7. You see all the firefighters there and hundreds of them. But as Mark mentioned, they are pulling some of them back. And that is certainly good news.
That is good to hear. Scott Reif is he's in the chopper on that live picture on the left-hand side of your screen. Scott, so far this week, we're in Wednesday, already 3 straight days of fires you've been rushing out to cover. This one also knocked down quickly.
Yeah, fortunately, the conditions out here weren't too bad as far as the fire is concerned. We're pushing into right where Mark was. I can tell you it's a little suspicious just looking at this at first glance. A lot of times we see a fire that will start along Sepulveda Boulevard. It'll be a vehicle right on the side of the roadway, and that may overheat, catch on fire, and spread to the brush. But this looks like if arson investigators are right at that location, and that is the origin of the fire. Kind of difficult for a fire to start down in there. We wouldn't have workers in there this time of the morning, so they'll be looking into what caused this fire. I want to give you a bit of a wide shot here, and I want to let everybody know, first and foremost, the 405 freeway is fine. If you have to travel, don't worry about it. There's little to no chance this will rekindle. There's always a chance, but what we're looking at right now with the weather conditions and the amount of firefighters they have on scene, I think we're really going to be okay. They just have to overhaul this. I'll show you on Sky Map 7. Now, right there is Cassiano Road. That's where Josh was. And I want to bring up our satellite view, and it'll give you an idea how close the fire was to some of those homes as it burned up through that brush right there. Fortunately, it was light to medium brush, and that's because of the Skirball fire in 2017 that burned in the same area. But right at the end of Sepulveda Road and Cassiano Road, or the Fire Road there at Sepulveda Fire Road, that's where they really had concern about the homes and they were thinking about evacuations. We'll come back out to a live shot. The fire has laid down. Give me as wide a shot as you can here, Jamie, for some perspective. But for the most part, this fire, although not a knockdown officially, is a knockdown. We don't have any active flame at this point in time. They just don't give you those numbers as a complete knockdown until they have firefighters spread around the entire portion of the fire, and then they'll give you a complete knockdown. But you see on the top of your screen is the San Fernando Valley. We'll push right back into where Mark was once again and show you all the firefighters. And you just take a look at that shot, you can realize Sepulveda Boulevard is not going to be available to you probably till late in the morning. They will be here for some time investigating the cause of the fire and making sure that it doesn't rekindle. But as you mentioned, Leslie and Brandy, we're fortunate. I mean, we've had these 3 mornings in a row, some 5 brush fires, I think, in total. But we don't have bad conditions. The conditions were pretty good for them to put this fire out.
Okay, Scott, and excuse me, you mentioned that arson investigators are on the scene there, as they do with all fires, but we know that in 2017, that Skirball fire, the cause was determined to be a homeless encampment and a campfire that got out of control. Are you able to see any people there who are in the area, maybe who should not be?
No, we really can't tell. I mean, push into that shot and you're going to see what I see, exactly what I see. If there is a homeless encampment down in there, we can't really tell. That's some pretty thick, heavy brush, and that's a hillside. That's like down a ridge line. There could be, but it doesn't look to me like that would be an area that would be optimal for that. I can tell you, though, I looked at the 2 fires from yesterday, the one in Lincoln Heights and the one in the Hollywood Hills, and there was not a homeless encampment next to either one of those. That started up on a hillside. That was very interesting as far as the origin was concerned. So it's possible that could be a homeless encampment, but we're not seeing any evidence of it.
Okay, Scott, thank you so much for that update live in Air 7 HD. We want to go now to John Gregory. He's standing by at the command center to get us the latest information on the firefight. Good morning, John.
Good morning. We just arrived on scene a short time ago, and coming through here, you can see a tremendous amount of firefighting resources on the scene, a lot of hand crews, a lot of structure protection units. So it's good to see. We've got helicopter units up as well. Joining us to talk about it, Captain Eric Scott with the LA City Fire Department. Captain, how's it look right now?
You know, firefighters have done an outstanding job. They got on scene very quick. They hit this hard. They hit this fast. They went from 30, 40 to now we're going with about 50 acres. But they've been able to stop the forward progress for the most part.
Looks like a lot of hot spots and some pretty rugged terrain.
rugged, steep, remote terrain. It's hot, it's dry, it's breezy, but the wind hasn't been too bad. We all know the terrible Santa Anas. This has been mostly a topography and terrain-driven fire. So there's no structures that have been damaged. The flames have been moving up near some homes, and that's why we do structured defense, doing exactly that, defending those homes to ensure that they are safe. We want people to stay inside.
We've had a lot of fires in this pass over the last couple of years. Any idea how this one started? I know in the past we had homeless encampments sparking some of them.
You know, in November 2019, just on this side of the 405 freeway on the west side was the Getty fire everyone knew. In December of 2017 was the Skirball fire. Like you mentioned, that was sparked by illegal cooking at a homeless encampment. Of course, the cause of this fire is under active investigation. It's of paramount concern, as all of our fires are. It's too early to tell, but per protocol of a fire of this size, we do have our arson section looking into it.
It's June. It seems kind of early. What's the fuel moisture level like? You still have some moisture in these plants out here?
Well, we've been getting the increased temperature. The wind's been drying things out, bringing the relative humidity down a little bit. As far as the types of materials that we have here is, you know, with the recent much needed rain brought in some grass crop, the light flashy fuel that burns quick, spreads fast, gets into some of the more rugged, thicker brush that we have up there. But again, we are working with the burn scar footprint of the 2017 Skirball.
So not dense brush we're talking about, but maybe fast moving burning material.
Well, we have both. You have in those hills, you do have thicker, more significant brush, but throughout the lower areas is where you have the lighter, flashy fuel that once you get into these summer months and the increased temperatures and there gets to be more wind events like we had a few days ago, now that dries out, that cures, it's more susceptible to a spark. So people need to use common sense during these next upcoming months, make sure that they don't accidentally cause any fires.
Talk about the resources, a lot of fire units out here.
175. So like we said, we hit it hard, we hit it fast, and that's why we made great progress. We also called our friends from Los Angeles County Fire Department to help us. The MRCA was on scene quickly. So we've been able to really get a good anchor point quickly on this fire, which again is on the 405 freeway on the east side, burning in an eastward direction near Getty Center. And we're able to get firefighters to surround both sides and really pinch it together and use our water dropping helicopters to take the heat out of the top of it.
No containment at this time?
No containment, too early. We're going to be here throughout the night and into tomorrow. The traffic through this area will be a concern, which just kind of depends on what the fire behavior brings us tonight. But we want people to also remember that they need to have that Ready, Set, Go program if you live in these areas. You need to always be ready, but now that you're in the brush season and we have fires threatening, you need to get to that set portion.
Any concerns about people not doing proper brush clearance? How does the neighborhood look?
Good question. That is a great way for people to join our team when you do that proper brush clearance. Give that defensible space. When you clean up all the weeds and the grass around your home for that 200 feet, we can put firefighters between that wall of flame, between that home, and save it.
Wonderful. Captain, thanks for joining us. We'll be checking back with you. So that's the latest from Captain Eric Scott. It looks like they feel pretty confident right now. They got a lot of resources on hand. The firefighters in place to keep this thing in check. No containment yet. It's too early. And arson investigators now on the scene trying to figure out how it all started as well. So it's early on in this fight, but the conditions have calmed down. I'm not feeling a lot of wind up here at all. And as the captain said, primarily this is a terrain-driven fire, which means it's going to burn uphill towards those homes, and that's why they've got a lot of structure protection units here as well. We're live near the Getty Center. John Gregory, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Brandy Leslie, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, what a job for those fire crews in that terrain. John, thank you so much for bringing us that live interview with the captain. Brianna Ruffalo standing by. He's really pointing out the wind conditions. They have changed, Brianna.
Yeah, and I know luckily that we say, you know, this wasn't on Monday morning when we woke up to those howling winds. And so we're really just dealing with some nice calm conditions, and hopefully that's all working in their favor. You can see where we're really seeing some of the breezy spots are up closer toward Santa Clarita, out towards Simi Valley, Porter Ranch. As we take a closer look down to Malibu morning for some of these areas, but again, these temperatures could be a little worse. But we're seeing some upper 60s, some low 70s out there, and just not much relief. Now, humidity levels, not great, but not too bad either. Again, these are going to drop down to the single digits for some spots later. So we're right around 20% for that area. And some other spots, we're seeing it in the teens out into Ontario, also pretty dry right now for the morning hours. And then later this afternoon, this is all going to change because we're going to be heating up, we're going to be drying out, and we have heat advisories going into effect for even more counties today. This now includes San Bernardino, Riverside, Orange County, and that will be issued through tonight. So for some spots, yesterday we saw the hottest day, and some other areas today will be the hottest day. We'll see temperatures well into the 90s and even triple-digit heat out there. The good news is winds will still be fairly calm, but we're dealing with this ridge of high pressure, so things are going to be hot, it's going to be dry. But I want to take you through the morning, through the afternoon, so you can just see where a lot of these winds are going to be. Most of them are just staying right between about 10 to 15 miles per hour. At most, we're looking at 20. So luckily today's not going to be too windy, but as we just take you through the morning, you can see they calm down too. So by about 10 o'clock this morning, we're really not seeing any wind out there. And then late this afternoon, we start to see those winds pick up. We'll see some more breezy conditions, especially out into the Antelope Valley, for areas out into the Inland Empire. Santa Clarita, we see some breezy conditions there too. And then down into Temecula. So it's not going to be widespread winds we'll be dealing with, but it will be breezy. But you can see it's going to be hot. Lake Elsinore, one of those spots that's going to be getting up to triple-digit heat today. 99 for Riverside, San Bernardino, close to it. So some of these areas are just going to be so hot and so dry today. 98 for Covina, 96 for Los Angeles. And again, just luckily today we're not seeing those winds that we saw on Monday because things could be looking even worse. 98 for Northridge this afternoon and some low 80s out into Ventura and Oxnard. Los Angeles, Orange County, today, after today, we start to cool off a bit and then our conditions will start to improve. So today's almost the last day we have for some elevated fire danger, a little bit through tomorrow. Still going to be pretty warm and dry, but then especially on Friday, things will start to get a little bit better. We'll start to cool off a bit more. We'll have some more moisture. We'll be dealing with some marine layer, some fog in the morning, some morning clouds, and then we'll kind of just stay in the 70s through Saturday. We'll warm up a little bit again next week, but not by much. Valleys, Inland Empire, we're looking at triple-digit heat today. Those are some of the spots that are going to be the warmest. They're going to be dry, and then tomorrow we cool off a bit. It's still going to be hot, and then Friday we will see some cooler conditions into the mid-80s. The beaches going to be warm today too. Not much relief really anywhere. Low 80s there. By tomorrow we see some better conditions than Friday, especially we get down to 70. Mountains, we're looking at some warm conditions too in the upper 70s today through Friday, and then we'll see some cooler weather as we head into the weekend. High desert, one of those spots that's going to be a little breezy today. It's going to be hot and it's going to be dry. Temperatures in the upper 90s today. Tomorrow, one of those areas that's going to be even warmer than yesterday. And then after that, we do start to cool off as we head into the weekend, and our conditions will really start to improve. I'll turn things back over to you guys for now.
All right, Brianna, thank you very much for that. Let's go back out live to Josh Haskell, who's on Casiano. And that's where 3 homes were lost in the Getty fires. Josh was there covering that. And you've been able to speak to some residents this morning. Of course, they're going through this once again, Josh.
Yeah, that's right, Leslie. Those residents that I spoke with, they threw some valuables in their car and they actually left. And it wasn't until neighbors called them and said, the firefighters have told us that we do not have to evacuate at this point, and then they came back. But that's really how people think up here. They've been through this before. They know what to pack, and they wanted to get out of here as quickly as possible. But thankfully, we're not having the winds that we had in 2017. As I just turn, really, really light winds here, not even really 5 miles per hour, maybe at times gusting to that. And just at this point, I'm only seeing 2 fire trucks here parked on Casiano. As I reported earlier, we did have 1 ambulance that did go up to the top of the fire road, and they did pick someone up and then they left. Hopefully our John Gregory can maybe get more information on that. But so far, since I've been up here for about 1 hour, I have not seen any other fire trucks come here. And as that gentleman, Nathan, was describing, in 2017, there was fire all around this neighborhood. Not only did they have to evacuate, as you mentioned, Leslie, they lost 3 homes. One of those homes is actually behind me. It still has not been rebuilt. It looks like those plans were just approved. One of the homes has been rebuilt that burned, and another one is still an empty lot just a little further down. That's actually where I park here in Bel Air at the top of Casiano. And Brandy and Leslie, at the top of the road here, there is a fire road. It has a gate on it. I can tell you that that gate is open. I can tell you that fire trucks have been going
on that road. It is not a paved road. It is very narrow, and they have been going right up to the flames and putting those flames out. So right now, I will send it back to you, Brandy and Leslie.
Okay, Josh Haskell live for us. Josh, thank you. The good news again, reporting no evacuations right now at this point. Scott Reif is also overhead in Air 7. And Scott, when you talk about the families Josh is mentioning who are just nervous every time they see flames, the technology you have in Air 7 actually shows us, even at night, what homes we're talking about that were possibly threatened when this thing sparked.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll show you that in just a moment. We were all set up here, and it's hard to change what our focus is initially to get to those. But that's where our Mark Cota-Robles is, and hopefully he can actually go to Sepulveda Boulevard and look down into that gully, if you will, and see if that is a homeless encampment. It may give us a little bit of an idea how this fire started. It's a little interesting that it would start right along Sepulveda Boulevard here. We'll have to wait for that, but we want to give you a wide shot. One thing you want to make sure you're aware of here is Sepulveda Boulevard will be shut down for a long time, but the 405 freeway is fine. You can get into and out of the valley down into West LA. Either direction is not going to be a problem. Now we're going to go over to where Josh is right there. That's going to be the right side of your screen. We'll push into that area. That's Casiano Road. And of course, as the fire burned up that hillside, even though a lot of it had burned after the Skirball fire, there's still enough fuel there to cause problems. And we go to Sky Map, and then we'll go to the satellite view, which is so fantastic. The technology you talked about, Brandy, you can see where those homes are, the ones that some folks evacuated, but they didn't get an official evacuation. They're back in their homes now as the fire has really laid down. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Scott Reif live in Air 7 HD for us. Thank you so much. You've been watching a special edition of Eyewitness News here. We continue to follow this breaking news now at 4 a.m.
This is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Leslie Sykes. We are continuing to follow breaking news of wildfire burning out of control in the Bel Air area right now. Good news is no evacuations are in place at this point.
Unbelievable. Hold on. I don't know if they're coming to me here or not. All right, no problem. For verification. Go to Mark, would you? Hold on, they might come to me here, I'm not sure. Michelle, is there a heat warning in effect for this afternoon? Is there a heat warning in effect for this afternoon? Thank you. All right. All right. Give me a wide shot, Jamie. And then we'll go into that. I've only got 45 seconds. Push into that. Okay, since they're doing that, let's push into that tight, or that Cassiano Road. Yeah, right in there. We'll start in there because it'll be coming out of what he's talking about. Let me show the satellite view real quick. Let me see what it's going to look like. All right. No, none whatsoever. For the most part, unofficially it's a knockdown. Officially, we haven't got the word. I want to bring up Sky Map 7 now. This is Cassiano Road. This is where Josh is, and that gives you an idea. Those are the homes at the end of the street that we're really concerned about. As we open up a little bit out of this shot, we come back out to our live shot. You can see what is burned is that ridge line, if you will, that hillside just east of the 405 freeway, north of Sunset, in that same area that had burned before. If anything, it's going to be more like a controlled burn for those folks who live up on top of the hill. The fuel that was below them before is now gone. But you can see our wide shot, no visible flame at this point. But, Leslie and Brandy, it is troubling because we're in June. We've had 3 mornings in a row where we had fires. If this would have been late August, September, and we had high winds, we'd really be in trouble. All right. Oh, my goodness, that hurt. Did we just lose the IAP altogether there? There, it's back. Okay, copy. Are you back to the anchors, or are you sticking out on this? What would you like? All right. Well, let's see what SkyMap says. What is that off-ramp right there? Open up a little bit. Is that? Oh, it is Getty Center. I got it on the top there. That's cool. Maybe we start with this, and now it blocks all of them. All right, copy that. Standing by. I'll give you 30. Go right into mark and then open back up. No satellite view. Yeah, Leslie, you know, officially they're not calling it a knockdown, but unofficially it certainly is. No hot spots. This is Sepulveda Boulevard at Getty Center Drive. Mark Cotarobos is right down there. That, they believe, is the origin of the fire. Started about 2:45 this morning. We'll come out and show you a wide shot. Some 200 firefighters responded. LA City and LA County Fire helicopters made drops on this. Fortunately, saved some homes on Casiano Road. As I mentioned, it's not a complete knockdown. They still have to overhaul this fire and find out how it started, but the 405 freeway remains open in both directions. From Air 7 HD, I'm Scott Reif, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. We should be clear to Van Nuys. Okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Let's do this.